So after crying for a month, I can finally review this. Hey there, Cinephiles. Today I'm reviewing The Iron Claw. Originally I was planning to do this as a mini review, but as soon as I walked out of my screening, I knew I had to do a full review. The Iron Claw follows the real-life tale of the Von Erich family and their rise and fall in the wrestling world. Sean Durkin crafts a film that lulls you in and leaves you absolutely heartbroken. If you're able to buy into the melodrama that undertakes this family, then you're going to be in for such a great emotional roller coaster. If you can't buy into the family or even Zac Efron as Kevin, then you're going to be in for a painful time, and not in the way that it was intended. However, I do feel like this film does a great job of setting up Kevin and his family dynamics. You're brought into the family as a brother, you feel their joy and you feel their grief and everything in between. If you don't feel like an honorary Van Erich by the end of the film, I don't know what to tell you. At the center of this familial drama is Zac Efron's wonderful performance. A performance that should be in the 5 for Best Actor come Oscar time. He is the bloody, beating heart in this, and you're alongside him for everything. The absolute talent that Zac Efron displays in this film is stunning. It's not that I didn't believe he could ever do this, but this is by far his best performance ever. Sorry to the Troy Bolton stands out there, but it's time we beat that performance. And he's not the only one who delivers such a great performance. The other brothers portrayed by Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, and Stanley Simmons are all really good too. The parents carry their own weight as well. Fritz, played by Holt McCallany, is perfect in this role. And of the parents, he is the much more loud and showy and one that really needed to work, but do not count out Maura Tierney's performance as Doris, who's also really good in this. The cast of the family overall just excels, and even Lily James, who plays Pam, does well too. There's a pretty wide scope of characters in this, and that unfortunately does lead into one of my issues with the film. I just wish we got to spend a little bit more time with the other brothers, even if it were just a scene more. Because I know the film focuses a lot on Kevin, but it's not exactly told through his eyes. Some more balance across the rest of the family just would have twisted that knife even more once tragedy struck. Granted, I know that this is Sean Durkin's biggest project yet as a writer-director, so the fact that he's able to make something as great as this early on in his career makes me really excited to see where he goes from here. Even with its rough edges and some of the pacing and where we spend its time, there's just so much of this that works. It's even shot well, and the film itself felt like it was plucked from another era. I know the setting takes place in the 80s, but it just feels like one of those movies that nostalgic people will say they don't make them like they used to, and then of course reference this. I honestly cannot wait for the wide release. I know it's a tough watch, but I wanted to rewatch it the moment I got out of the theater. It's such an emotional roller coaster. It's able to show the joys of watching professional wrestling, but also have this heart-shattering plot at its core. The crafting of the screenplay is also something that really makes me want to rewatch this film, because if you know what to look out for, you can see the genius breadcrumbs that are being laid out for you. Also, there are some lines in here that hold so much weight and are just so devastating. It's insane how a few words can have that much of an impact on you. That, and there's a scene that's obviously artistically interpreted, and it's one that I'm going to be thinking about for a while. And I know it's a true story, but if you don't know that going into it, you could easily believe that this is a fictional tale akin to Shakespearean levels of tragedy. And despite the story being something that could have easily been shock value over substance, you feel the care and delicacy in which this story is told. And honestly, that's something I respect so much, because you just feel like this was made by a professional, and it's so mature. And even though it's not perfect overall, this is still something that I will be pushing for so much to get award season buzz. Realistically, this could get an acting nomination for Zac Efron and maybe be a wild card in the 10 for Best Picture. I would love a screenplay nod for this too, but honestly, as long as this gets a single nomination come Oscar time, I'll be over the moon for it. But even if it's without a single nomination, this deserves to be seen on the big screen, because it's one of the year's best films, and it shouldn't be forgotten in the late holiday shuffle. I give The Iron Claw a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Please go and check this out as soon as it's playing in a theater near you. It might make you cry, but man, it's so worth watching. But alright, those are my thoughts on The Iron Claw. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll watch you later.